Welcome everyone here to the Smash Evening Show right here on Smash FM here on a Friday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's continue our interviews in particular tonight, and of course let's go to our friends over in the US and go to Palm Beach in Florida, of course in the US, and of course speak to another music artist, of course from the US. Of course, she was involved in The Voice season 18 just recently, and of course she joins us right now from Florida. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Well, also I'll get you to introduce yourself and tell us, I guess, what genre of music do you perform?
Hey, so I'm Allegra Miles. I think overall, I definitely like a lot of different styles. I've grown up with different influences, but overall, what I do is like a soulful pop R&B with like some acoustic elements as well. It just depends.
Now, as I mentioned in the intro, you're involved on The Voice season 18, which was just recently. Tell us a bit about that experience.
So I've been trying to get on the show for a long time. This past time when I finally got on is like my 5th time auditioning, doing the preliminary rounds. So it's something I wanted to do for a while. I think since I was like 13 or 14, I first started trying to audition. But I just kept working it. I didn't get it. Then I kept working and everything. And finally it happened, and it's been one of the most incredible experiences of my life, and very genuine, very real. You know, it's you're not sure, like, going into a reality TV show, like what it's going to be like. Is it going to be genuine? Are they going to like care about who I am as an artist? But they really did, and it was really real and respecting like artists, you know, and artistry and everything like that.
Now, of course, we're here in Australia. We're currently in our season of The Voice here. Obviously, for everyone that watches the show, it's obviously when they first see The Voice, it's the blind auditions, firstly, and obviously with the coaches, obviously get to spin the chair around. How did you go in your blind auditions? Who did you manage to get as coach? And I guess how many chairs did you manage to get the coach to turn around?
Well, I was really nervous. I was like terrified. I was shaking so much before. I was like, oh my gosh, like this. I was like, I didn't know if I could do it. I literally couldn't. I had to like convince myself that like, okay, you can do this. I was like so scared. But no, I did it. I walked up, I played keys and I sang, and Kelly Clarkson and Nick Jonas turned around. And going into it, I think my first picks were gonna be like, my top choices would have been John Legend or Kelly. But then, so at first when she turned around, I was like, okay, I'll go with Kelly, you know? But then they both started talking and pitching themselves and everything like that. And the things that Nick was saying, I connected with a lot, and he connected with me, and we had like that connection kind of immediately. So I was not originally thinking I would go with Nick, but he kind of won me over and he convinced me. And so I ended up going with Nick, and it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. So yeah.
Now, of course, I have to ask. Obviously, Nick Jonas, obviously from the Jonas Brothers. You know, I have to ask. Were you a big fan of the Jonas Brothers?
I personally like wasn't. I never really got into them because I actually grew up on an island in the U.S. Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. So when I spent most of my life there, and we weren't like that in touch with like pop culture, I guess. So I didn't know really much about them until I moved to the U.S. like 6 years ago. But I mean, obviously I knew who they were once I got here, but I didn't really ever get into them. But once I was on the show, I did start listening to a lot of their music, and genuinely I love it. Like, not just because he was my coach, but I think their music and their style and their production and everything is really interesting and really unique. And so I've become a fan after. Yeah.
Now, I have to ask, and I ask this to everyone that I've had on the show in regards to, you know, all the singing contests like American Idol and obviously The Voice. Do you still stay in touch with your coach?
I do. Not ton, but I do have his email, and and the thing that's cool about that is like I've heard people, people who've been on the show before on different teams and things like that, that they don't get any way to contact the coach, because it's up to the coach if they want to give out their email or give out any contact information. But Nick did, and he gave it to his team. And so he's given me a little bit of advice and things like that in terms of, because I'm going to be releasing some music coming up and an EP, and he's been supportive absolutely with all that. And I appreciate, again, that he would even give out his email, because he doesn't have to, but he chose to. So yeah, it was cool.
Now, we'll talk a bit about that in just a moment. Now, for everyone, obviously, we don't give too much of a spoiler alert. For everyone that hasn't, especially here in Australia, that hasn't seen the recent Voice, obviously, I've seen pretty much all of them, every single episode of the recent series. Now, for everyone, I guess, out there, how far in the competition did you go?
I got to the top 9, so the SemiFinals.
Did you ever, like, when you first went on it, especially being the 5th time you've been on it, to get there, and obviously with the blind auditions and that, and got through that, did you ever thought you were going to get into the top 9 or even the top 10?
No, not in the slightest. Like, I mean, I guess everyone says that, but genuinely, like, after trying to even get to the blind auditions like 5 times, and then the first time I made it this time around, it was even getting to do a blind audition at all. Like, even if I didn't get any chairs to turn around, that would have been like enough for me, because that'd been a dream for a long time, and I'd been working and trying to get to that point for so long. And it finally happened, and just being on that stage for the first time, there's no way to describe that. Like, it's so unreal, it's so unfathomable, so even that was crazy. And then getting chair turns, unreal. And then every step, it's like I genuinely, if I had ended at any point, like, I would have been so happy, because I did it. Just getting to do the blind audition, that was it. So making it to the top 9 is like there's no way to kind of put that into words, what that means. And seeing, Nick really believing in me, and America believing in me too, which is crazy. And then the amount of support and connections with people, and fans, and but more just like the connections with them, and no, I never ever would have imagined that. It's crazy to me.
Now, I always ask this question, to especially all the contestants that's been on the recent series of The Voice and American Idol. Obviously, you got all the way to the top 9. I'm always interested in the answer of this question, which is, do you still stay in contact with all the contestants that made it further past the blind auditions and obviously the battles? Do you still stay in contact with them, and how close was the friendship especially in the top 20 or the top 10?
Yeah. That, honestly, that is my favorite part of the entire experience. From the very beginning, like when we were out in LA for like the callbacks, even before the blind auditions, immediately you meet so many incredible like-minded people. And the thing that was really surprising to me, honestly, is that no one's really competitive. Like, there aren't any petty people, and it's not like, oh, I want to beat you. Like, no, I don't think I met one person who was like that. Like, genuinely, everyone was just a genuine, kind person, and we became a family, like, immediately. Like, and I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's so true. And I knew I would make like good friends, but I didn't know that they would be long lasting. And I text them every day. Like, I FaceTime with a lot of my friends, some who made the finale, and some who were, back in the blinds. And they're the most like beautiful, incredible, kind people. And when we were out in LA, like, we did so many jam sessions together and made so much music together, and had these long existential talks about life and everything. And honestly, we kept each other grounded through the process. Like, we helped each other calm down. We helped each other get out of our heads, and always were there for each other. And No, I mean it's unreal, and that's something I didn't expect going into it. The how close the connections would be, and I know most of these people I'm gonna be friends with and really good friends with for my whole life. Absolutely.
Now, I guess I have to ask now. Obviously, with what's been happening around the world, and especially over in the US, with obviously the pandemic and everything that's been happening, have you had a chance to do any like live stream performances online for your fans?
Yes, I do a good amount of those on Instagram and Facebook, but especially on Instagram. And so as of now, as of the past few weeks, I do every single Wednesday. I do a music live stream, you know, and I recently, a few months ago, I was doing it to raise money for you know the virus relief and things like that. And recently, I've been doing it to support Black Lives Matter and different organizations that I can give it to. And so yeah, I've been doing a lot of those, and some usually through you know my own pages, but sometimes other places or companies will have me do it through them, or there's been some festivals that are fundraisers and benefits, and we actually just did 2 weeks ago, I think, a lot of people from this season of The Voice, a lot of my friends, we did a Black Lives Matter fundraiser. Like all of us did like a giant live stream on Zoom together. We streamed it to Instagram, and we raised over 4K. So, and then to put it to different Black Lives Matter organizations. So it's been cool to really see the world like coming together and adapting and using music as a form of healing and as a form of hope during this time because it's so important.
Now, you mentioned before about obviously bringing out your new EP and single as well. Obviously, for our Australian listeners here, tell us a little bit about it without giving too much away.
Okay. Well, first of all, I do have a single that's currently out. It's called 4 a.m. And you can stream it anywhere, Spotify, any type of platform, or download it all under Allegra Miles 4 a.m. It's almost at 300K streams, so it's getting there. But yeah, I'm actually going out to California next week, and I'm going to be recording and making my 5-song EP. So a lot of these are really new songs I've just written in the past few months, or one of them I actually just finished yesterday. But yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that, and then starting in as soon as possible, like hopefully early August, I'll be releasing a few singles and then the EP eventually. And I'm super excited about that because The Voice has been a really cool platform to be able to kind of like springboard off of. But my goal and my priority is always original music and stuff that I'm writing. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned about going over to California. Obviously, you are born in California yourself, of course, San Diego, before obviously moving to the Virgin Islands and obviously now to Florida. How did you get involved in music and why did you choose it? Because I believe you have a musical family.
I do, yeah. So my whole immediate family, so my mom especially, more than anyone has inspired me so much. She's a singer-songwriter. She plays guitar and piano, but my dad also plays the bass and guitar. My sister plays piano and guitar. And not only that, but on my mom's side especially, my grandma and my great grandma both were or and you know are piano players and singer songwriters and everything like that. So it definitely runs in the family. But so for me, I feel like it was never really like a definite choice where I was just like, oh, I want to do music. It was just kind of always evident that music was around me and that's just what I wanted to do. And it was like I always grew up with music every single day. And my mom singing, and then I kind of started off singing with her, and when she would perform, I would sing harmonies with her or anything. And eventually I worked up to writing my own music and then playing it out, and eventually doing like 5 or 6 gigs a week at festivals, restaurants, anywhere I could, and just trying to do it. So yeah.
What will be a highlight throughout your music journey other than The Voice?
Ooh, I got to. Ooh, well, I think one of the craziest things for me was when I think it's my single 4 a.m. Like I had released when I was 12, 13, 14, kind of first getting into it. I had released multiple songs that used to be up there. I've taken them down ever since. But 4 a.m. when I finished it and heard the finished version was the first time I've ever made something that's like, that is me. And that's such a crazy experience. Like, that's everything I want to say and express, and it sounds how I want it to sound, and it's my vision and everything of working with the producers. It's a crazy experience to write something and to see it come to life. But even more so when it first hit 100K, I was like, what? Like, I didn't think that would happen, you know, and seeing people enjoying my original music and believing in it and connecting with it, and people saying like, oh, you know, you impacted me with this. Like I connected with that lyric, or I felt that. And so that's just what I want to continue to do, is like, hopefully people connect with things I write and make them feel something, for sure.
Now with what's obviously you normally be performing outdoors, and at the moment with especially what's happening with the pandemic side of things, have you had a chance to reassess your goals with your long and short term goals, and what are those now?
Hmm. I've definitely, you know, with a lot more time at home and a lot more time like writing and yeah, definitely thinking. I have been thinking a good deal. I my overall goal with my music is to inspire, to connect with people, and less about me, more is about hopefully people will be impacted in some way, shape, or form, or connect with it in some way in my music. But I definitely want to continue putting out original music past this EP and more, and collaborating with other people, doing things like that. And when I can, I want to travel with music. You know, I want to tour if possible, open for someone potentially. But I really do want to like see the world in some way, and hopefully with music. But that's my dream, to like travel with music in some sense, and hopefully inspire some people on the way.
Now, what does the music scene mean to you now, and especially now being involved on The Voice and got as far as you got on The Voice?
Right. Well, I mean, it has been interesting kind of navigating, like, you know, what do you do after The Voice, like to utilize that momentum, and not really let it die off. So I've been doing everything I can to like continue connecting with people on Instagram and social media and everything, and utilizing what I can from the platform that I've been given. Um, but I think it's the music industry is not perfect, you know. It's not always pretty, it's not always good, it's not always real and honest and friendly, and people don't always have the best intentions, you know. So it's a lot about being conscious and being aware and taking the best things from it and using that, but not getting sucked into the dark side of it and the negative side, and regardless of anything, staying true to what I want to say as an artist, and regardless of what any, you know, the industry might be telling me, or anything like that. And I think everyone should do the same, is like, people will connect with you if you're you. They won't if you're not, you know. People can tell when you're being authentic and portraying that, you know, you. So I definitely, I'm not saying it's all bad, but it's not perfect. So I think taking the good things from it and doing what you can with that.
Now, I always ask this question to all the music artists that I have on the show from the US. Now, is any plans at all to play in the Music City in Nashville or any other US city?
Well, I actually was just in Nashville in March with my friend. It was for her birthday, but I've been there a few times. I have a lot of friends there, a lot of friends from the show especially. And I've performed in some places over there, not anything huge, but I've done some open mics and some gigs with people and sat in with some people, which is cool. But I would absolutely love to go there for maybe a few months, stay with a friend and get some gigs and write with people. That's another huge thing, like the writing rooms that they have there. Where people just go and write, and you find people you can co-write with and write songs, and that would be super cool. I definitely do want to, as soon as we're able to, you know, when the virus is less of an issue, I would love to do like a US tour potentially, or like again opening for someone. If I got to do that, that'd be crazy. But I've performed some in New York and some in LA and Asheville as well as Nashville. But yeah, just anywhere I can perform, that's what I want to do.
Now, of course, I know, even though it's very early morning over here, but we have been getting messages before we've done this interview, and they are dying to know, are you thinking about performing down here in Australia?
I would absolutely love to, and I'm not just saying that. I have always wanted to go to Australia. I know a few people who've been, and everyone who's gone says it's like the most incredible thing, the most beautiful place, the coolest people. I would love to. If people want me to come to Australia, I will absolutely come to Australia, and that would be so much fun. I would absolutely love that.
Now, what will be your advice to our listeners out there that should get involved in music?
I think one of the biggest things I've learned, like through the journey with the voice, but also just my life and everything in general, is timing is everything, and you have to trust the timing and trust the process. Like, you know, I for the voice I started auditioning like 4 years ago, and every single time I didn't get it, I would think like, oh, maybe this isn't meant for me. Maybe I'm not supposed to do this, you know? And I did get discouraged, but then there was like a little voice inside of me that was just saying like, you have to keep trying. You can't give up. Like, this is something that you really want to do. So, and if I had given up, I would never have done it. I would never have made it, you know? And I think trust the timing, and things won't always happen for you in the timing that you initially want or intend, but it's going to be the timing that is best for you and it will best serve you in the long term. And all of the time, you know, will have been like prep and will have been making you stronger and better. So just trust the timing and trust the process, because what is supposed to happen will happen for sure.
Now, of course, let's finish off with a couple of light-hearted questions as well, which is any embarrassing moment on stage?
Oh, well, okay. When I first started performing, when I was like, I don't know, maybe I did like dance recitals when I was like 2 or 3, I think. But when I started singing on stage for the first time, maybe like 5 or 6, I don't know. And I would get I had a little bit of stage fright, but more so than that, I would get like embarrassed because I always thought that people like me or like were judging me or something. So I have multiple times my mom has told me like I would be on stage singing, and then if something happened or if people weren't listening or I thought people didn't like me, I would just run off stage like immediately, and for no reason, like no one did anything, but I thought that, oh, they don't like me, and then I would run off stage and I would like start crying and I wouldn't come back. So luckily I don't do that anymore. But I did do that multiple times when I was younger.
Now, was there any point that you just forgot the words to a song?
Oh, so many times. So even today, I do it all the time. But I feel like the thing with that, I've forgotten the words, and the worst is when you forget the words to a song that everybody knows, you know, a popular song. And that has happened a few times, and people give me these weird looks. But something I do when I forget the lyrics is I try my best to play it off. So if I forget it, I'll do like a little riff, like a da 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 da, like I'll do like a da da da, like I'll try to make it as if I intended to do that, even though I didn't. Or sometimes I'll just make up my own lyrics, or I'll try to like riff off one certain thing. But no, that happens all the time. Like that's not even like a rare thing for me. But
now, I get this answer commonly when I ask this question. I'm going to ask this question to you. When you perform on stage, and especially when you get to introduce yourself to all your amazing fans over there, is there any point that you actually forgot a location where you're performing? You say hello, you know, fans, and then you actually blank out on the town you met, and you accidentally said a different city or a different town altogether?
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't, because I've never been on like a real tour. I feel like that could definitely happen if I was on like a tour and, you know, you're in a new place every night. I could 100% get that. because it all starts to kind of run together, I'm sure. But yeah, I haven't done that yet, but it could definitely happen for sure.
Now, these two questions I'm going to ask is about obviously the contestants on The Voice, which is any comedians that on The Voice that are just absolute comedians.
Oh yeah, okay. So Micah, he made it to the finale. He's hilarious. He cracks me up all the time. He's one of my closest friends from the show too. But he the entire way, like on the show and then on his lives, he's such a good sense of humor. He's so funny. He actually did this thing. You can find it on his Instagram, like in his highlights. But with some of our performances, like when they came out, when they aired, he would like lip sync over them, like, but with like these funny voices. Yeah, like you should go check it out. It's really funny. So he would the actual sound of our performances, but he would like do like like he would do like things over it, and it looks like that's what we're saying. So I can't explain it, but like go check it out. He's so funny. I love him.
Oh, you got to tell me when we go off air.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, everyone's great singers, so I'm going to skip that question. Are any of them good dancers, or they believe they're good dancers?
There's not any like, okay, well, Mandy Castillo, she's a good dancer, like you can tell. And then Michael Williams, who I did my battle with, he's had some like theater experience too, and I have too. So he, like you could see, like he kind of we were doing like a photo shoot for our battle, and so in one of the pictures we're doing like a dance pose, and like as if you're gonna do like ballroom dancing. So I don't know. I mean, there's a few people who try to dance but like can't, but it's okay, Sure.
And of course, I'll finish off with this one last one, which is for everyone in Australia that should follow you for your amazing music. How can I go about on social media and, of course, on the music channels?
For sure. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Allegra Miles. So Allegra Miles. And then also on Spotify, every single platform I'm on there with my single 4 a.m. Just Allegra Miles 4 a.m. So anything like that, or check out my website, allegrammiles.com.
Allegra, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show, and finally get to interview someone from Florida. We haven't had one of those in quite a long time, so
really? Oh my gosh!
great to have someone interviewing from Florida in particular, and obviously best of luck once obviously restrictions can ease a little bit more. I know obviously with the pandemic it's hitting Florida pretty hard at the moment, and let's hope it all goes well for you, and can't wait to hear your new single and EP, of course the one that's coming out very soon, and obviously we'll make sure we share that to your amazing Australian fans over here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And as soon as I can, I absolutely want to come to Australia, like for real. Like I would love that. Thank you for having me.
No worries. And that's Allegra Miles there, of course, from, of course, Florida, as I mentioned, of course, part of the top 9 there on The Voice season 18 over in the US. Of course, you can check out, of course, all the music, of course, on social media and, of course, on the music channels. Then, of course, we'll put all the details up on our social media. There's more on the Smash Evening Show right after this. Don't go away here on the Friday edition.